Hello, 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 everybody. Good morning. Good morning. My apologies. I am a little bit late, but better late than never. I don't know what it is. Technology does not want me to be great this morning, but it is okay. I am here. It is Wednesday. I'm calling this Wisdom Wednesday. So y'all can tell me what you think about it. You can tell me if you like the title, if it's, if it resonates with you. And if not, let me know too, because it can always be changed. Anyway, good morning. I am Patrice Malloy. I am the founder of Malloy Management Group. We are a financial advisory and consulting, firm where we help our clients make, master, and multiply money so that they can make millions at hyper speed and build an unapologetic and unshakable financial legacy. I wanted to come speak with you this morning because there are so many things that are happening. As you know, it is at the time of this recording, almost the end of the year. We have just over 60 days, actually about 60 days, left before the end of the year. And it is my mission, it is my goal, it is my desire to help as many people as possible save money on their taxes, increase their profit and revenue, and to create impact that they desire because they now have that freedom to do so because they are no longer bogged down by the lack of money. So that's why we're here. So this morning, I want to talk about a handful of things. So my people are the kind of people who are unapologetic in what it is that they do. They are industry giants, they are visionaries, they are at the top of their class or at the top of their industry, and they are subject matter experts. Okay. They can tell you what they need to do, they have no problem with that. The only support that they need is that financial support. So I help you focus on your financial back office operations. We talk about things like maximizing profits, like implementing tax plans so that we can take that income that you're making and keep it within your financial ecosystem as opposed to giving it to the IRS. And we talk about things like forecasting and planning for the future so that you can build and scale your business to the next level. So these are some of the conversations that we have, and these are the types of people that I'm looking for. Now, there are a number of myths, I would say, that are present in business that I've come across, and a number of people that I've worked with have come across. And I just want to start talking about that and kind of debunk them. And I just want to invite you to stop playing small, right? I want you to be unapologetic and commanding what you want as far as your finances are considered, and commanding the revenue that you want in your business, and commanding the salary that you want at your job because of your expertise, because of the time that you've put in, because of the education that you possess and have obtained, right? Because of the experiences that are unique to you that nobody else can take from you and that nobody else possesses because you are you, right? So we want to talk about those things. So we want to talk about some of the myths, like I said, that we have been taught, and we want to break those, right? So let's just get into it. Now, one of the things that we talk about is cost cutting. Now, don't get me wrong. It is definitely essential to cut cost in areas where you are hemorrhaging money, in areas where it does not make sense to your business. You're not growing your business in any way, shape, or form. Um, Conversely, what you're doing is actually taking money out of your business on things that you really don't need them to be spent on. So if you are just starting a business, or if you are even at six figures, right? And you're feeling like you have to go and hire a whole bunch of people to build your business, that's a myth, right? What you want to be doing is instead identifying areas where you actually need that support, identifying if you have the money to do so within your current portfolio, right? Within your current bank accounts. Instead of just saying, okay, I need to cut costs here, I need to cut costs there, I need to stop spending money on coffees or Starbucks or things like that, because that's not the answer to the problem. It's a lot deeper. So again, that whole frugality thing that we talk about when you have to cut costs all of a sudden in order to save money is a myth. A lot of things that we really need to consider are our spending habits, are our prices in alignment, right? Because if you have an incredible service, but you're not charging what it's worth, that's a great way to keep yourself at a lower level of income in your business. That's a great way to burn yourself out. That's a great way to not be able to reach those goals that you have for your family, for your children's children, and for your retirement fund. So it's really being intentional about getting those prices put into place as opposed to just cutting costs. Now, again, before you come for me, I do believe in cutting costs, an area where those cuts need to happen, but it's not just to go across the board cutting costs all willy-nilly without taking into account what those expenses are for and how they help your business operate on a day-to-day basis. So that's the first one. Now, again, what you want to be able to do is strategically deploy the resources that you have within your business to make sure that it can continue to grow. So we do still have the the cutting of the cost where it's necessary, but we still want to also take the money that we have and use it strategically within the business. So I mentioned hiring, at the top of this conversation. If you can take some of that money and hire somebody that's going to help you with sales, which is going to increase revenue, that's a good idea. So these are some of the things that we want to start thinking about and considering as we're building our business. So in addition to cutting costs, we want to be very strategic about what we do with our money. We also want to be able to discern any kind of weak links that we have within our arsenal, right? We want to have strategy, we want to have good planning, we want to have resource development, we want to have a blueprint in where we want to go in our business. And again, it's not just the cutting of the cost, it's all of these things that we have hand in hand to make sure that our plan is working to the best of its ability. Now, another thing that we've heard is cash is king, right? So in some ways it is, right? But I want to take another step into that and say cash flow is queen, right? So we have this thought process that just because we have money coming into our business that we're going to be profitable. And that's a fallacy, right? There's a difference between having revenue and there's a difference between having cash flow. So revenue or income is the money that does come in your business, but that does not take into account any of the expenses that you incur on a day-to-day basis, month-to-month basis, and annual basis, which happens as you're running your business, right? So it's the top line income that comes in. We have a thing that's called the bottom line. And so that takes into account all of our EBITDA, right? So your equity, your interest, your taxes, and all the things that are associated with running the business during the year. And then we get our final number. So it's basically what's left. And so cash flow is the money that's moving in and out of your business. So again, revenue is that top line. Cash flow is what's left over. It's what you keep in your business. It's that liquid money that you have to leverage to do things like hire people, to pay your bills, to help you operate, to pay the taxes of the business, etc. So you want to be very, very intentional and think about that when you're thinking about the money and looking at your bank account because it's a mistake that happens a lot of times. So again, revenue is great. Cash flow is what we want to keep the lifeline of our business flowing. So make sure that you keep that in mind. So I want to teach you the alchemy of turning that cash flow into your competitive edge. Okay. So when you, sorry, I'm excited, y'all. So again, when we are thinking about these things, that is what you want to focus on. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow, because what's going to help you make those really serious decisions. Okay. So I have another little pun. So if revenue is like the sizzle, then the cash flow is the steak. So we want steak, honey. We want to keep steak in our business. Okay. My dog decided about cash flow and revenue, y'all. Okay. So a couple of other things we just want to kind of talk about is strategies for the financial command of your business. So you want to be able to deploy high impact tools to keep your cash flow covered. You want to protect the cash flow at all times. So what are some of the tools that we talk about? So again, we did talk about the cutting costs essentially, but we also want to talk about being strategic in what we're spending our money on in the first place. Okay. A lot of times when I'm looking at books for clients, they have all of these different things in their bank statements that really don't need to be there to run their business. If you are starting out in business, you want to really focus on something that's lean and mean, right? What is the absolute necessary system or software or whatever it is that I need to run my business until it gets to a point where I'm making a profit. So when we talk about those things, we're thinking about a calendar system, right? If you're booking appointments with people and you have a service or your service provider, we're talking about your customer relationship management tools, right? So whatever it is that you're going to leverage to keep contact information like emails, phone numbers, etc., so that you can contact people in the future and you can keep them aware of what it is that you have to offer. We're talking about a business bank account, right? You need to have that. We're talking about merchant processing systems if you have products and or services, right? If you're taking money over the phone or if you're taking money in person at maybe like a vendor event or something to that effect. You want to be able to have that available so that you can continue to build your business. We're talking about things like inventory if you have a product, right? So it's these are the very, very, very basic foundational things that we need to get our business running so that we're at a point where we can actually make some money. And then once you've made that money, you can leverage that to build, right? To grow, to scale. So then you can think about making a beautiful, fancy website if that makes sense, right? You can think about bringing more people on to help you, to augment your staff, whether it be a contractor or full time employees, to again help you increase sales, which is going to help you increase revenue, which is going to help you increase your cash flow. So that's what we want to think about as well. So we want to focus on those tools in our arsenal and really just get those set up and running first before we think about running off and doing all these extra auxiliary or ancillary things that really don't put a dent in our business. Okay. Now, another thing that people have said, and I had this as well, is that debt is a bad thing. Right now, some debt is bad, right? It's not good for us to have a whole lot of unnecessary credit card debt or outstanding loans or things of that nature if it's not something that's going to help us grow, right? It's not going to help us invest. It's not going to help us build our businesses, etc. So if you're leveraging debt to do those types of things, that's a positive. That is an investment in your business as opposed to an expense. So you really need to start thinking about it in that manner instead of just saying that all debt is bad. Because in reality, if you can leverage someone else's money to build your business, that's exactly what you want to do. And that is what the wealthy do on a daily basis to continue to grow and expand their wealth. So I highly, highly, highly recommend you getting into the thought process and the mindset that some debt is good. If you're leveraging the debt to increase your real estate portfolio or continue to purchase assets that are going to be income producing or to invest in your business or to open up a new location or to do something like that and invest in your education, that is definitely an investment. And that's what you really want to focus it on. So that is a growth lever. And if you're in business, you really want to focus on getting a business credit profile set up so that you can leverage that debt. Because here's the thing when you're applying for credit cards and personal loans and things like that using just your social security number or your personal credit report, you don't get access to as much money as you would if you were on the business side. So typically on the business side, you get what 20, 30, 40, 50 times more access to funding as a business because it is an entity and they want to use that money to stimulate the economy. So really positioning yourself to be at a place where you can leverage credit cards for your businesses, loans, uh, working capital opportunities, et cetera, to do things like hire people. That's really where you want to be. So focusing on that. So again, it's the good debt, excuse me, versus the bad debt. So it's really learning to determine which is which and then using that to your advantage. And so let's talk about leveraging debt. So I can tell you about a personal experience, right? So again, when you go back to using credit cards on a personal credit card, you have a certain level. So maybe they'll give you like, $10,000 to start. That's incredible. But as a business owner, I was able to get a credit card that started at $24,000, right? So that's a lot more money that I'm able to leverage to grow my business. So again, it's just positioning yourself properly and at the best possible way so that you can use these tools that are at your disposal. When you're in business, it opens up a whole new world of opportunities for you. So, if that's something you're considering, I highly recommend you look into that. Okay. Let's see. Another challenge that I've come across is DIY accounting. Now, I'm guilty of this, and I know I have come across a lot of people who have used YouTube University, right? So I've done the deal. I've got the t-shirt, I got the YouTube University diploma, and the reality is that what I should have been doing was setting money aside to invest in a professional in that area as opposed to trying to jerry rig or MacGyver everything by myself because what I did was lost time. I didn't necessarily get the result that I was looking for. And I ended up having to spend the money anyway because it needed to be done correctly or not even necessarily correctly, but it needed to be done by a professional, somebody who enjoyed doing that work, somebody who was experienced and educated and licensed and has spent time doing this work day to day to day, right? So it's really focusing on that part. So if you are in business, it is not a good idea to DIY your accounting, right? As accountants, we take a lot of time to get the degree, to take a lot of time to get the continuing education, the licensing, to do things like be an enrolled agent or to do tax strategy and to be a certified tax strategist or, a fractional CFO. We have all of this education behind us that people don't necessarily understand. And they think that they can just go out and do everything that we do. And then they expect the same results. And they're surprised when that's not the case. Right. So I always find that interesting and kind of funny when it's like, well, what did you think was going to happen when you went out and did something that is a high skill, right? It's a highly qualified skill, and you didn't necessarily have the foundation to do it. So, unfortunately, it was destined and bound to fail. So, focusing on connecting with somebody who can help you get to the best results, especially when money is involved, because money is um, it's so personal, right? People have a lot of feelings and emotions around money and traumas around money, unfortunately. And when we make mistakes, we feel a lot of shame and we feel like, maybe it wasn't in our destiny to have money, right? And that's not the case. The reality is everybody was supposed to have an abundant life, right? They were supposed to have wealth and abundance and finances and, money flowing essentially because money is energy and it flows around us. So it's really just being intentional about getting that money to flow to you and through you. And let me just take another step back. So one thing that I have also found out, I've experienced this myself and I've learned through coaching and then just talking through, you know, um, some of these conversations with people who are where I want to be financially, right? If you give money, right, with an open hand, it typically comes back to you at a much greater rate and a much greater speed. So when I say give money with an open hand, I'm thinking about investing in a professional that can take you to your next level. I'm thinking about investing in personal development and coaching because you want to be a better listener, communicator, leader, parent, spouse, etc. Right? It's talking about purchasing books or products that are going to help you transition or shift to the next level of where you want to be in your life, right? Your financial journey, your health journey, your wealth journey, your relationship journey, whatever it is. So it's taking that money that you have and investing in someone else who is going to help you get to that next level so that it will then in turn come back to you at a later date. So again, it's really being intentional about working with professionals, investing in professionals that are going to help you get to that next level because that's incredibly important. And I want to just reiterate that fact to you. So, again, you want to just be able to understand who your financial dream team is. If you're in business, again, you're looking at an accountant, you're looking at a bookkeeper, or maybe an accountant who does the bookkeeping for you. You're looking at an insurance agent that's going to help you leverage the money that you're making and invest in things like, index universal life insurance policies or whole life insurance policies so that you can continue to grow your wealth and accumulate wealth as you're living basically day to day. You're looking for bankers and financial advisors who can help you determine where to put your money or invest your money so that again it can accumulate wealth and it can continue to grow for you. So you're looking for your financial A team, right? And I always joke about this, but you want to always have bail money, right? So BAIL, so a banker, an accountant, an insurance agent, and a lawyer to keep you protected, to get you set up strategically so that you were able to not only attain wealth, but continue to grow it and keep it down the line for dynasties, right? Because my goal is to have dynastic wealth. I want to have wealth for my children's 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 children, and then some. I want people to understand what it means to have an affluent lifestyle, what it means to be exposed to certain things, what it means to be able to have opportunities. And I am unapologetic in that. Like, I am not sorry that that is what I want my children and my family to experience. So that's that. So that was again DIY accounting. So we don't want to do that. We want to rule like a boss. We want to rule like an enterprise owner. We want to rule like a CEO. We want to partner with somebody whose expertise lies in managing those financial back office operations. It lies in forecasting and helping you plan for the future. It lies in getting those books and those checks and balances and orders, the credits and the debits and the journal entries and the accounts payable and accounts receivables and all the things in order for you because that's what they're here for. Okay. All right. So the next one is all in all marketing. So I'm also guilty of this. I've spent tons of money on ads that I had no business spending money on when I should have been just working to grow organically, right? I should have been looking for referrals, identifying people who could use my service and showing them what it was that I had to offer, right? Instead of spending money on Facebook ads that quite honestly did not work. They burned up my money. And then let me tell y'all, I got kicked off of the ads when I wasn't even running an ad. So I feel a way about that. So I maybe it's just a personal feeling that I have with these ads, but if you do not have to spend your money on those ads to start with, don't do it. You're excuse me, burning a hole in your pocket and typically you're not going to get that money back. So going all in marketing. So it's not being reckless with the marketing, you want to be intentional. So there's nothing wrong with running ads if you have a strategy and you have someone to help you identify your ideal audience and the wording and the phrasing of the ads and the imagery that needs to be associated with the ads, right? If you have someone that's leading you, go for it. But that goes back into DIY it, right? What we just talked about. Don't DIY it if you don't have to. Again, there are people out here who do the thing professionally. They do it as their job. That's what they love to do. So connect with those people who can help you do that because that's where you're going to get the growth. That's where you're going to get the success that you're looking for. Okay. So let's not just throw our money away. We want to be like a sniper. We want to be very intentional with, knocking off those ads and connecting with the people that we're looking to connect with so that we can grow our businesses. So you really want to focus on that strategic marketing because that's going to be your secret weapon. So again, we want to learn to allocate your marketing funds for maximum impact when it's time. Okay. So again, you can work with those people, those professionals to craft a marketing strategy that's not just like silly, it's bold, right? It's compelling, it is magnetic, it is reaching the people that you're looking to reach, and it is pulling them in to have them come and have a conversation with you or to purchase from you, right? Because that's the whole goal of business. If you're not making money in your business, you have a very expensive hobby. Sorry, not sorry. That's just the reality. Been there, done that as well. And that's how I can tell you, right? That's how I know. We don't want to have an expensive hobby because, by the way, when you go to file your taxes after a certain point, the IRS does not recognize a hobby. They want you to be making money and they want you to be a legitimate, profitable business. Just a little side note there. So that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about some of those myths that we wanted to debunk. And now that we've kind of gone through some of those things, I'm curious to see what are some of the myths that you have encountered. What is something that you thought had to be put into place as a business owner or as somebody who is looking to accumulate wealth that you realize was not actually the case after the fact? If you're watching this live, I'm so excited to see what your comments are. If you're looking at this as a replay, let me know. Hashtag replay. Let me know what myths you have come across or what you were taught or what you thought was, the end all be all. And then you came to find out that that's not actually what was happening. Okay. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. As always, it has been a pleasure. It is Wednesday. Wisdom Wednesday. See, I don't even know if I want to keep it, guys, because it's hard to roll off the tongue. Wisdom Wednesdays, we are talking about wealth. We're talking about all things business, finance, life, growth, development, you know, shift transformation at hyperspeed, at quantum speed, at super nova frequencies, and all the things. And I'm excited to be here with you. Until then, we will talk soon. You guys have a fantastic day.